Thank you guys for joining our very first webinar with Go Wireless. We're really excited because I think this is our first marketing activity actually in New Zealand. I think we've talked to a few of you guys from the very inception of Vilo. So yeah, I'm glad that we can finally officially do things now in New Zealand. So yeah, there's two of us on the call today. There's myself and then there's also Mark. So to give you a quick intro, I'm a co-founder of Vilo, and in my role as COO, I oversee sales, operations, and marketing for the ISP business. And then Mark is our support engineer. Mark, do you want to say a quick, a few words about yourself?
Sure. At one point, I managed a wireless ISP around 2,000 subs, and once upon a time, I was in the military and worked at the White House. I've been doing communications about 20 years. So,
Thanks, Mark. So yeah, I'll give you guys a quick history of Vilo. It's not a very long history. So yeah, my background is in smart home. So when I was previously working at my smart home company, the number one customer complaint that we had was the smart home devices were not connecting to the Wi-Fi. They weren't working at all. So my team would spend countless hours troubleshooting with these customers. And we realized the root issue was actually the router, not the smart home devices. They were using, really old routers from the 90s that only had the 2.4 frequency band, et cetera. So yeah, I always had it in my mind that I wanted to launch a router. And then, yeah, I began working on Vilo with a few of my actual coworkers at the smart home company. And then we spun off Vilo in 2021. So we launched our first product, the Wi-Fi 5 system, in July of 2021. When we first launched, we just wanted to sell directly to customers because that's what we knew. So we wanted to compete with Google Mesh, Orbi, Eero, the higher priced competitors. And shortly after launch, we began hearing from ISPs that they really liked our hardware. They liked the value that we provided. They just asked for remote management software that would make it even sweeter. So we began working with a few of these ISPs as a focus group. And so we were just heads down for a few months and launched our demo portal, or what's now known as our ISP portal, at Wispapalooza in October of that year. And since then, it's been pretty crazy growth for us. We now work with over 400 ISPs all around the world. So New Zealand is one of the latest countries that we've launched in. So we're really excited to be here with Go Wireless. And our business has now completely shifted to focus 100% on ISPs. So yeah, we've launched a bunch of features just for ISPs, such as APIs, remote configuration, and things that Mark will talk about later on. And then we've also launched our new Wi-Fi 6 system in the meantime. And yeah, these are just some of the customers we work with. I don't think we didn't put anyone in New Zealand yet since we just got here. But these are some of our customers in the US, Canada, South America, et cetera. So yeah, I'm going to spend the next few slides just talking about why we think a managed Wi-Fi solution is important and why we think Vilo might be that solution for you. So this is a quote from one of our customers in the US, One Communications, and I think he summarizes it really well. Now with the rise of smart home devices, working remotely from home, I think it's just more and more critical that ISPs own the end-to-end internet experience for their customers, because customers, don't really know the difference between Wi-Fi and internet. It's just really important to them, right? And then, I think these are common complaints that we've heard from all customers. And I think I've probably complained about these things in the past as well. Like, my internet's too slow. I've got too many dead zones in my house. I can't watch TikTok in the bathroom. I don't want to have to call my ISP to remember my password. So these are all complaints that we can help you address or even prevent through using Vilo solutions. And then a few months ago, we sent out a survey to a few of our existing customers trying to quantify the impact that we've had on their business so far. And so these were the results that we got back, which were pretty surprising. So to summarize, most of our customers have seen a 40% decrease in operating costs. And that mainly comes from seeing a reduction in truck rolls or even support tickets. So you don't have to have as many support agents or tier 1 technicians on call. And then an area that we actually really want to focus on this year is how we can further increase your customer happiness and satisfaction. I think that's an area we can really work on. And yeah, I just wanted to call out on this slide, like we don't want to be known just as a software and hardware solutions provider. We want to be known as like a true partner that can really help you grow your business. Like I think as I mentioned earlier, we're a very young company, we're a startup. Like if it weren't for ISPs, like me and Mark would not be here giving this presentation. So we want to help you in all aspects of growing your business. So I'll give some examples of what we've done so far with other ISPs later on in this presentation. But yeah, I just wanted to call out like, yeah, it's not just hardware or software. We've also got great support teams. We got great marketing teams that can really help you guys out. So yeah, now I'll talk a little bit about our solutions and what kind of sets us apart. So the number one thing I think that's most obvious is we offer mesh hardware. So with mesh, you can offer scalable whole home coverage that some of the older traditional routers, can't do. And so, yeah, this really, helps you address some of those subscriber complaints, right? That are like too many dead zones, can't watch TikTok in the bathroom, right? Yeah. So both of our Wi-Fi 5 and Wi-Fi 6 are mesh. And then the next slide is just kind of giving a quick rundown of our Wi-Fi 5 versus Wi-Fi 6. So right now, Go Wireless only has our Wi-Fi 5 in stock. We're currently working on the production for Wi-Fi 6 for New Zealand. So that should be in stock in the next few months or so. So I'll primarily just focus on Wi-Fi 5 for now, since that's what's readily available. And then, yeah, we can answer some questions later about Wi-Fi 6. So yeah, for Wi-Fi 5, each unit can cover up to 1,500 square feet. And we recommend no more than like 8 units per network. So with 8 units, you could probably cover about like 8 to 10,000 square feet. So most homes are like, yeah, won't be that size. We've had some customers test and say they could do up to 16 to 18 units wirelessly with no issues. So I think it's, yeah, use with your own judgment. Your mileage may vary. Please test beforehand. And then a question we get a lot as well is if we can do wired backhaul. So yes, we allow that option as well. So you could either wirelessly mesh the units or you could do a wired backhaul via Ethernet. So we support both situations. And then the capacity is 68 connected devices per unit. So that should be more than enough for an average household. And then these are the theoretical max speeds listed here, but for ISP speeds, we recommend no more than 300 to 400 megs down for ISPs on the Wi-Fi 5. If you guys do want higher speeds, then that would be for Wi-Fi 6, where we can support up to a gig. And then the Wi-Fi 5 comes in either singles or 3-packs. And so the 3-packs are pre-configured to mesh. So what that means is all you need to do is install the main router, and then the second and third, you just need to plug into a power source and they will automatically connect to the main router. So I think that is what sets us apart from some of the other mesh routers out there. So yeah, your install time could be as little as 5 minutes for a 3-pack if everything goes well. And then what customers also really like is that we have, I don't have the picture of the back of the router here, but each router has 3 gigabit Ethernet ports, and our routers are interchangeable. So any router could be the main and any unit could be the satellite or the slave. It just depends on what you plug into the WAN or LAN port. And then, yeah, Wi-Fi 6 has a few more features. So Wi-Fi 6 is built on OpenWRT. And so that's why we have smart queue management, Cake, some of that open source goodness on Wi-Fi 6. And then we also support IPv6 as well on Wi-Fi 6. And then, yeah, for New Zealand, Simon has been asking us this a lot, is about VLAN tagging. So unfortunately, VLAN tagging will only be available on Wi-Fi 6 for right now. Okay, so the second thing that sets us apart is our free subscriber-facing application. So with the Vilo app, your customers can easily access and manage their networks from the palm of their hand with their phone. And so we actually leave it up to you guys to decide if you want to give access to your customers or not, or if you want to give the app access to your customers or not, because yeah, you guys know best. So like if your customers are tech savvy, you think they would like the app, get a lot of use out of it, then go ahead and give them the app. If your customers are, a little bit more wary, don't really know their way around their phones, then you might not want to give the app to your customers. It's entirely up to you. It's pretty much the same control as you would have in the portal. I think the only thing that's missing is you cannot configure or manage parental controls right now in the ISP portal. So that's maybe one of the benefits of why you would want to give off your, or you want to hand over the app to your customers. But yeah, we generally recommend that you do give the app to your customers. Like, we think it really enhances the experience, and it could help you reduce support calls on your end, because it's like, if a customer, forgets their password, they could just check it via the Vilo app rather than, calling into your support line and asking you. So yeah, we leave it up to you right now to decide, but we're constantly working to improve the app experience. So we're redesigning the setup flow right now. We're trying to do more self-diagnostics. So yeah, I think later on, I think the app will be even more attractive, and you'll want to hand it off even more to your customers. And then I think the reason why a lot of you guys are here is to learn more about our ISP portal. So I won't go into this too much, since Mark is going to be doing a deep dive later on. But yeah, so I think something I will call out is we are working on a redesign of our portal. So what Mark is going to show you later is actually the first iteration of our portal, like the portal that we worked on at the very beginning. And so we're working to redesign the portal, and it should be launching in the next few months. So the biggest difference is our new portal will be more proactive. So rather than waiting for a customer to call in, right, and like you looking up their network on the ISP portal, we want to pull out these insights for you so that you can proactively monitor and figure out which customers are, having trouble before they even, make a call to you. So yeah, I think that's the big difference between the two versions of the portal. And yeah, and then Mark will go over a lot of these features later on, so I won't talk too much about them. So yeah, that's on the hardware software end of our solutions. But yeah, I also wanted to call out how we could also help you guys with sales and marketing. So these are some examples of the work we've done with some of our ISP partners. So the bottom corner right here, this is white label hardware that we've done for a few of our larger customers. They really wanted white label routers. And so yeah, we figured out a way to do it for them. We also have go-to-market materials. So if you want to figure out how to better market Vilo or the app to your customers, we can create all those assets for you. So we recently just launched Bark parental controls in the US. And so we've been designing these flyers on the left for our customers. And then, yeah, we can also help you with productization. So if you want to offer Vilo as a managed Wi-Fi solution or want to do it as an additional revenue stream, we can kind of help you figure out that business model. So that's what we did up here with Getus. So they're upselling the routers right now for $4 a month. And I think they see a take rate of like 90%. So yeah, they're making quite, or it's a pretty good side hustle for them right now. So yeah, we helped them with all of this and built out this beautiful landing page for them. So yeah, if you guys are curious or want to see even more examples, like feel free to reach out and we can kind of show you the breadth of everything we've done so far.
Amie, there was a question on white labeling quantity. I figure we should probably answer that live. That way you could say how many are on a pallet, because it is one pallet.
Yeah, so our minimum order quantity right now is a pallet. So a pallet is about 1,300 units for Wi-Fi 5 and about 1,200 units for Wi-Fi 6. But I think this is something maybe we could talk to like Go Wireless and like figure out something for ISPs that can't order that amount right now. So yeah, I think we could probably follow up with you on that and figure out what we can do.
Yeah, absolutely. Reach out to us at Go Wi-Fi and we'll have a chat with Vilo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then we have additional resources as well that you can leverage. So we have a Facebook group just for ISPs. I think we have about 530 customers in there now. So you can kind of see the discussion, the good, the bad. You can get updates from us. It's pretty lively. And then we also have a product roadmap as well that's public. And so this is actually linked in the ISP portal. So you can see all the things we're working on. And then you can also submit any new requests that you have. as well as upvote any requests that you really care about. And that actually helps us prioritize what to work on next. So yeah, we always want to, take in your feedback because it's very valuable to us. And then speaking of support, we actually have different tiers of support. So we have tier 1 support, which is through our ticketing system that you can access through our support site. And then we also have an emergency hotline that's available 24/7 that you can call for any urgent issues. And then we also have Mark. No, I'm just kidding. We have our customer success team that includes our support engineers. And so they can also offer one-on-one deep dives or team trainings for you guys if you just want to know more about like best practices or how you can deploy Vilos at scale. So we can help you with all of that. And then our support site also has a lot of educational materials. So we have lots of like videos that you could watch if you just want to know how to use a certain feature in the portal. So yeah, this is a lot of stuff. I think if you guys are interested in doing one-on-ones or team trainings, just let your Go Wireless sales rep know, and then they can connect you with us, and then we can figure out the best timing. So that's all I had on my end. So I think we were going to do our first Q&A session right now before Mark jumped into the deep dive, right?
Yeah, we
Okay.
did get a couple of questions. I did see Mark just answered one. Someone was mentioning about the VLAN tagging, and yeah, definitely we have talked about it for the past. So yeah, Vilo 6 will be the one to go, and I'm sure Mark would have said for 5 you can definitely use those kind of as bridged access points. I suppose if you have like a Spark router, or if you've got potentially a router that has Wi-Fi, you could just disable the Wi-Fi on the main router and then use the Vilos as your Wi-Fi. And I think that was it, really.
There was also a question on when the shipment is getting to New Zealand for Vilo 6. So
yes.
we could probably
We have our
provide an
order
update
placed
on that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I put mid to late Q2 to be realistic.
Yeah.
For Wi-Fi 6. But yeah, it's in production right now. And then depending on like the shipment method, I don't know how long it will take to get from China to New Zealand. Yeah.
If you are interested in anyone who's online who wants to chuck any back orders or pricing, just contact me. We've got the order in, so we can always put any on back order that you need. Cool. I guess for now, then we'll just hand over to Mark to do his portion. So I'll just quickly.
All right. You'll have to give me permission.
Cool. Reclaim host. Make host. There we go.
All right. Okay, so we will go ahead and jump into the portal here. One of the key things to keep in mind is when you receive your inventory, you need to scan it into the portal. If you don't scan it in, there's no way to help you. If it's just like, if a technician walked into your warehouse and took something before you, put it into your inventory system. So there's 2 processes that are really kind of key. Updating firmware before you deploy. That way, in case, a factory run was 2 or 3 versions behind on firmware and maybe we fixed any kind of issues or we made an improvement, added a new feature, all that would be enabled before you deploy. So that's always my disclaimer here. Now we can jump into the portal here. All right, so when you first launch the portal, your landing page is going to be on the Wi-Fi networks, the SSIDs, and your subscriber IDs with your customers. But starting from start to finish here, you would go to your Vilo inventory page to ensure that that unit is scanned into the portal. And from here, if you are running DHCP or if you're doing PPPoE, there's no way to remote configure. However, if you are running DHCP, you can remote configure from here. So you can come to remote configuration and you can do this completely independently of the app. So you could plug it in on the bench, go ahead and set it up, and then you could mail it to a customer if you needed to. You cannot do the meshing remotely at this time, but if you're sending out a single unit, you can go ahead and send this out. And if you're doing a 3-pack, you could always pre-configure one unit as the main and then have the others that are on the pre-configured mesh and then just ship the whole 3-pack. And that way the 2 that they plug in will automatically talk to the main as part of that pre-configured mesh. So you've got your remote configuration. It will fire up the SSID just like you went through and did an activation. Sorry, my chat window's in the way here. And once that happens, it'll fire up a Wi-Fi network. So that is fully remote config. And then from here, you can pick out whichever network you wish to manage. I actually added a few extra columns, but normally you can see the online status right there in the main page. So we'll just we'll take a look at this customer. You can always disable or allow internet access. When you hit that view button, that now takes you into that Wi-Fi network. So from here, you can see which ones are the main or the subs. You can see the RSSI between the wireless meshing or a hardwired backhaul unit. You can also look at the signal levels and historical levels as well. So if a customer decides to turn around and move a satellite unit, and like this customer moved it from a neg 63 and ended up with a neg 80, that's a support call more than likely. So you can catch that stuff and save truck rolls with that. You get your devices. It'll also give you some of that same options where you can click and look at some of that historical data as well. You can turn on usage report. The usage report will capture a snapshot. It's not fully real time, but it'll take it every so often. For instance, if you click on it per device, let's go look at this guy's camera. This guy's camera today alone has uploaded 1.49 gigs. So when he's over here wondering why his network's slow or maybe his Zoom is slow, you can turn around and investigate a little deeper and see if there's something that maybe is utilizing all that. So this guy's camera is pushing a lot of data. So then you get your guest Wi-Fi. That's pretty standard setting. You get your band steering and your Wi-Fi settings. Band steering off is always a good way to go. It comes defaulted on so that it only presents as one SSID. But you got a lot of those IoT devices, cameras, thermostats, something crazy like a refrigerator. Of course, someone's going to have a problem with a refrigerator, right? Because that's what they call you for. So you can turn around and turn band steering off and separate the Wi-Fi. When you separate it, it will just add a little underscore 5G on there. If you're doing MDUs or anything like that, you can also turn around and lower the RF output on the 2.4 or the 5 or both. So for instance, MDUs apartments 2.4 bleeds over into the next few apartments quite a bit and causes a lot of interference. You could turn it down to standard. So high is 100%, standard is 75%, low is 50%. You can adjust the channel width on the 2.4. On the 5, this is our Wi-Fi 5 AC 1200 model. You cannot change the channel width. On our Wi-Fi 6, you can change the channel width on the 5 gigahertz. So for here, you run an 80 megahertz channel wide on the Wi-Fi 5. So you would be able to at least change the frequency it runs on, or you could lower the output power. Because these mesh on the 5 gigahertz, I wouldn't lower the output power below standard, just because now you could be affecting the mesh. But if you're in an MDU situation, maybe you drop it to standard so it's not bleeding over into the next few units so much. From here, you got the Wi-Fi interference. So every time this thing restarts, it runs a channel scan and does an optimized Wi-Fi. So when we get to the schedule regular restarts, you'll understand some of the benefit there. So this is kind of counterintuitive. When you first see this, you're going to think that there's a lot of noise, but we're going to work on a redesign for this. But for now, the longer bars indicate better quality. So actually, channel 6 has a little more interference. Channel 11 has a little more interference, and channel 1 is clean. That's why I selected it. right? So you can always hit optimize Wi-Fi, and that would just run a channel scan. It would kick off all devices while it runs that channel scan, and then it would reacquire those devices after the fact. They would reconnect. You get your restart Vilos. You can schedule your regular restarts. This is time zone based, so make sure you change your time zone in the portal. But you can set this for multiple days or once a week and set it for early in the morning. You got your speed check, which is tested with speedtest.net. So we partnered with Ookla. This is one of our best features, in my opinion. This way you can run speed test. You can even run a speed test across the mesh. So for instance, you can see just today, this is today's date. And of course I'm on East Coast US time. So that's why it's a different day for y'all. But you can see just an hour or two ago, I ran a speed test across the wireless mesh units. And this customer actually has a 30 meg package. So he's doing pretty good. You can see the speed history. So remember when that customer moved that satellite unit and he had a neg 80? Boom, I can see that. So that's a really nice feature. You can always schedule speed tests ahead of time too. So if there's a late night issue and your staff is not staying up to check, you can schedule that and then call the customer the next day. We've got automatic firmware upgrades available, or you can turn around and schedule them as well. If you hit this little arrow, you get to some of the rest of the settings. We've got our WAN settings, very basic there. You can set your manual DNS if you so need. One of the other favorite things that people like also, you can always set your own manual IP scheme if you prefer, that bridge mode. So let's say you have maybe a more advanced router situation. You need to pass like a /29 through to a customer, but you need to figure out how to disseminate Wi-Fi through a larger building, and you feel like using a mesh unit. Well, you can do that right here. So you could just turn these into bridge mode. You're going to lose a few features, usage report, DHCP reservation, some guest Wi-Fi, things like that. But bridge mode basically turns them into managed Wi-Fi access points. You can always do DHCP reservations, where you would pick the device. It would tell you what IP it already has. You can do your port forwarding as such. You need a DHCP reservation to do port forwarding because you can't do port forwarding on dynamically assigned devices. We have SIP ALG, and we of course have logs. Now we're on just this one particular Wi-Fi log, so you can break the logs down by operational logs for the one Wi-Fi, or if you come over to operational logs on the portal, you can look at the entire portal's operational logs. Up in the top right, we have our product roadmap, which is publicly accessible. So if you feel like going to it and upvoting anything, you can always come over, scroll over, kind of see what we've got. Doesn't mean we're going to do every little thing, but at the same point, we are highly community focused. So White Label App is getting a lot of upvotes. So, if you want something like that, come in and pick your favorite features, upvote, or add your own. And I believe that is the gist of it. You can always get with your distributor to purchase more Vilos because they're going to be a lot closer than going through this button. So get with your distributor on the. All right. So all right, here we go. We're all set. Anything that you guys need me to cover?
Nice. I suppose one thing would be maybe if you could just briefly cover the actual sign up process. I've worked with a couple customers already, but in terms of signing up for an ISP account,
Sure.
obviously what's needed there.
Just browse to isp.viloliving.com. Best thing is to have some units either coming to you or have some on order before you sign up for this. That way, when you get them in, you can scan them. But if you know that you're going to be a customer, go ahead and sign up on that form and request an access code, and one of our sales team will get with you.
The good thing is actually you've already given us plenty of access codes. So
that's right. Yeah,
customers can just reach
local distributors to give access codes to. So Simon and those folks, if you just simply tell him, hey, I've requested an access code, but I'm waiting on it, he can issue you the access code.
Yeah. Yep. So I've got a few handy. So if anyone needs access code, feel free to reach out. It's simon@gowifi.co.nz. The other one was the support. When you showed us through the support URL for ISP.
So inside each Wi-Fi managed Wi-Fi area, you will see you can send support logs. You can upload screenshots, things like that, or you can go to the generic portal. There's a button at the top for sending a support ticket. You can also jump on our Facebook group, reach out to us personally. Obviously, we try to always keep a ticket so that we can keep track of things, but we are here for you. So you'll have email addresses, you'll have our Facebook group, you will have the support flow through the portal. You'll have Simon who can reach out. We are here to make sure that we are actively engaged in offering our support. We will not be hard to reach. We've got the hotline number as well. You'll probably have more avenues of support with us than any other manufacturer.
Nice, great to hear. And they also have a support website which has some frequently asked questions and how to configure things. And there was also the video that you showed us from one of your local ISPs of the kind of process of adding devices into the ISP inventory, correct? Yeah. Cool. We do have a few questions that came through. Is it possible to configure OpenDNS in a way where the client can't change their DNS? So obviously you were showing there that you can do custom DNS, so you could use OpenDNS or Umbrella. I guess in terms of a way to intercept port 53 requests and enforce that it goes through a DNS. I'm not sure if you guys can do that.
You can always set your static DNS, and you don't have to give the customer access. Now, if you give the customer access to the app right now, at this point, they have full access. Sure, yes, they could change it, but we are working towards having a goal so that you can limit permissions on the customer application.
Oh, cool. Locally, sorry, Brian, if I'm just assuming what you're meaning there, but I'm guessing a lot of the settings that you're showing them obviously are on the ISP portal. Guessing there's obviously, in terms of locally, a lot of those settings can be actually configured on the Vilo app, correct?
Yes, for local configuration, technically it all still goes through the portal except during the initial setup phase. The initial setup phase does communicate locally with the Vilo via the app. We are pushing for a local web UI, but strictly for more of an emergency situation. Like let's say you're having some kind of issue getting online, but you need to configure WAN settings and maybe an SSID. So we're looking to offer those most basic features, just like WAN settings and SSID password on a local web UI, but that is not available at this moment.
Okay. Another one was, I'm guessing, just a suggestion. You were showing the Wi-Fi interference bars. They're just saying maybe change colors from red to green potentially, or a way of
100% with
showing.
100%.
Yeah,
we are getting that redesigned.
Fantastic. Cool. Is the speed test in the customer-facing app?
The speed test is on the portal only at this time.
Okay. Can we use the ISP portal for our customers even if they are using another ISP?
Yeah, the Vilo reaches out, ISP agnostic. So if you scan it into your portal, you can manage it. Also, if a customer decides to walk off with your unit that allow and disallow internet access, doesn't matter what ISP they're on, you can brick their unit.
Nice.
So as long as you
Very
keep
good.
it in your portal, you can always brick it if they walk off with it until they send it back or throw it in the trash.
Nice. Awesome. Does the guest Wi-Fi have device isolation?
No, it is on the same SSID, so it's not an isolated Wi-Fi at this time.
Would they, I guess, if not already, if anyone has, if they wanted to request the feature for device isolation on the guest Wi-Fi, a good option would be chucking it in that support portal as you were mentioning before, and get plenty of votes for that.
Yeah, put it on the Trello board, our product
Yep.
roadmap, top right corner, little light bulb.
Nice one. Common issue is customer resets the device if they're experiencing an issue and wipes out their VLAN tagged WAN config, and PPPoE generally requires truck roll. Any option for a set default minimum config that activates on button reset or some other solution?
We are looking to get to where the portal can have a standard config, maybe assigned to a unit. It's not here right now. Make sure you upload that on the product roadmap. But what you could do is untag for a brief moment, give it a DHCP, let it talk to the portal, reconfigure, put it back on tag.
Cool. I suppose, yeah, they'll just require the customer just to plug into another router or something.
And with the offline local web UI, that will be VLAN configurable. So
Cool.
when the VLAN launches on the WAN, you will be able to set it up via that method as well. So worst case, you would walk a customer through maybe a two-step setup, via the local web UI. Worst case.
Nice. Well, I
Very,
suppose we're
very
pretty
simple.
used to that here in New Zealand, that any kind of manufacturer or something that deploys a solution that requires VLAN tag, there's always the first few steps of adding in that PPPoE and VLAN tag connection. So it's something we're already used to. I don't know who came up with the idea to add VLAN tagging on the WAN, but that'd be an interesting conversation to have, I'm sure. Can the customer app access be permission controlled, i.e. read only, or change anything but WAN settings?
I think we kind of mentioned that in there. We are looking to be able to limit customer application usage, so you can pick which features you want them to have access to.
Oh, cool. Because you did have installer accounts as well as for people who go out to deploy them, correct?
Exactly. So your installers or your technicians can have a separate access via app versus the customers.
Cool. And then, no, sorry, I meant to say that. Oh, so that users can't change their DNS under network settings at the PC level. I suppose for that kind of interception, you'd require the router to actually intercept port 53 requests, so that even if they were to change their DNS locally, statically, then it would always go by your DNS. So I'm not sure if that's something you've got or planned on doing.
We're more of a, there's a very advanced routers, and then there's more of a residential router, and that is what our market focus is at this time.
Feel free to reach out to me, Brian, because there is definitely a way I can think of that could intercept that, and you could still use Vilo. Oh, sorry, Vilo. I keep saying Vilo. So yeah, there's definitely an option if you want to use Vilo as well and still enforce that. So we can have a chat about that. Privacy concern statements for customers to help manage their expectations. Compliance with NZ standards. I guess compliance, you were already showing me that in terms of the boxes and stuff like that, you've got all the correct compliance.
Yeah, I think that's why the Wi-Fi 6 is taking longer, because it's like, yeah, we have to redo the certification. But yeah, we're meeting with our legal counsel later this week just to review like everything internationally, just because we've grown so quickly internationally.
Right.
So yeah, we're taking like another audit of everything we've done so far and see if there's any gaps.
Cool. If there's anything you've got directly, Spike, that you need in terms of concerns and statements, you could always reach out to me, and I can reach out to Amie and Mark and pass that on for you. Cool. I think that is. Oh no, there is another one. Does the wireless mesh solely use the 5 GHz band?
Yes, it does. Right now, we are a 2x2 unit. Just a heads up.
Cool. I suppose I can just quickly, if anyone's swinging by our office, I do have some Wi-Fi 6 units if you wanted to see what they look like. Otherwise, yeah, we'll hopefully have them soon. But yeah, I think that's it. Oh no, we do have another one. Any costs associated with the portal or any option for a self-hosted controller? So I suppose like a self-hosted ISP.
Yeah, I can take this question. So right now we're not evaluating self-hosting, just because that would require us to kind of redo our entire code base. But in terms of pricing, we do have plans to charge later on for the portal. we just want to focus on redesigning the portal right now and just deliver more functionality to you guys. So we think we'll probably start charging towards the end of next year, but we'll definitely keep you guys posted on how that will work out, because I do think it might be different for New Zealand. Like we might need to do more licensing stuff internationally. So we'll definitely keep you guys posted way ahead of time of any changes we'll be making in terms of pricing.
Cool. What is the MIMO on the Wi-Fi 6 units?
Well, it's a 2x2, so that's what you get them. That's where we're at.
Cool.
We are evaluating future products, though.
Cool. Oh, they keep coming. They keep coming. Proposed costs, cost of portal, proposed charges, guesstimates. I suppose it's too early now. I'm guessing like, they're probably coming
Yeah,
from.
this is what we're
maybe
thinking
like
of.
is there like a free tier, or and then there's cost for additional features and things like that?
Yeah, that's what we're thinking. So we're thinking we'd always have a free or basic tier, just for the smaller guys. And then we would have different tiers based on the amount of features you would like. And then we'd have kind of like a custom enterprise tier, where we're building out specific features for you guys. So I think that's what we're thinking right now.
Cool.
But yeah, I think it would be in line with like the rest of our pricing philosophy. Like, I don't think, it would be like a $40 router and then like a $4,000 portal cost. Like, it won't be like that. Yeah.
Nice. I would suggest everyone as well. I joined it recently. The Facebook group is definitely a good place because obviously a lot of customers on there who are using it globally, and there's some good conversation there. As you were mentioning earlier on about the white labeling and getting pallet stock, there was another one I saw where people were, was it label printing onto the top of the Vilos?
Yeah, so people before we offered white label hardware, people were doing stickers on top. Actually, since we have a bit of extra time, I can just pull up some of the other customer examples. So I can just show you guys. It's not a very sexy document. It's just a Word doc that we just use to keep track of everything. So I can kind of show you.
I can show you what I mean now as well. So the unit here, they were just putting it on top here, right?
Yeah.
I believe it is also an option on the Vilo 6 to get a double print. So instead of that Vilo 6 on the front, you could have something on there too.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so these are what people were doing beforehand. So yeah, they were just doing like, I think this is a 2x2 sticker. I forget the actual dimensions, but we can send you the measurements. And so they were putting it on top. And then stuff like this. And then people were doing, I like this as well. So they installed the router, but then they also have the handout that kind of explains, how to use the app and how to use the router. They have this on the side. And then something I just saw recently was an ISP down in Texas in the US. They're actually doing their own wall mounts, and their wall mounts have the their phone number and their website on the wall mounts. So yeah, we thought that was really cool. So these are just some examples of what we've seen. People are pretty innovative.
Nice.
And then we can help with any of this like website branding as well. And like, or coming up with like different packages if you do want to make it as an additional revenue source.
We actually work with a customer who does 3D printing for us for some other things. So maybe I might reach out if everyone's interested. I could always reach out to him if he wants to do the similar thing for 3D printing for Vilos.
Yeah.
It was just like a wall. It was like a wall mount, correct? And you just pop the unit on top of it.
Yeah, let me see if I can find the actual image of this wall mount I was talking about. Yeah, we have a guy in our Facebook group that sells just white wall mounts. And then we had this customer show us recently.
Probably a little expensive shipping 7-cent piece of plastic to
Yeah.
New Zealand.
we can do it locally,
That's why I was like, oh, maybe we could just like mass produce for him, right? And give him a licensing fee. This is one of our customers sent us this. So this is kind of a wall mount that they're printing, and then this is their phone number. So if there are any issues, the customers just know to call that number. And they really like this rainbow filament. I don't know why. guess it's eye-catching.
Nice. Another question came up, and actually I had this question myself when I got the email that it was announced. Bark definitely seems exciting, but not coming to New Zealand as best we know. Do you plan to add further parental controls options? Because I did see that someone commented on the Facebook post about it, that you were looking into Australia, which is, ever so close to New Zealand.
Yeah, so right now we're limited based on where Bark is available. So Bark is only
Right.
available in 3 countries,
Okay,
US,
right.
Australia, and South America, or not South Africa.
Mhm.
But yeah, I think we actually heard quite a few New Zealand ISPs reach out yesterday being like, oh, when is
right.
Bark coming to New Zealand? And so we started talking with the Bark team.
Mhm.
So they said they want us to start tracking all these requests, and then
Okay.
just they will assess on their end like what is needed. So yeah, I think the effort's more on the Bark end right now to expand to New Zealand. But yeah, I think they're open to it. They're receptive.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's like if they're available in Australia, I don't know the
Yeah,
amount of additional work that's needed for New Zealand. Yeah.
there are more nasal sounding New Zealand. So.
Yeah, maybe the AI doesn't work as well in the Kiwi accent.
Yeah. Cool. I suppose if you want to track requests, if anyone wants those, flick them to me and I can pass them on to the team at Vilo. Any webhooks or APIs for integrating portal data into existing systems?
Yes, we have APIs in beta right now, so we can send you the documentation. So we have
cool.
a few here, I guess. Yeah, so you would have to sign up for our beta program in order to access the APIs. So yeah, if you're interested, let us know. But yeah, this is here. Let me share my screen right now. So we do have Swagger documentation out. So what we're trying to do is like any of the data that you see in the ISP portal, we want you to be able to also pull via APIs. So these are kind of the APIs we have available right now in beta. But this is like where we're trying to flesh this out a lot more based on requests that we're getting from customers. So I think in addition to just pulling data out, what we've heard is people also want to do provisioning via APIs and then kind of like reverse logistics. Like if a customer leaves the ISP, right? Like how can they delete that customer info, reset the network, etc. So that's kind of like the next iteration. And then also doing integration work into the CRMs and billing systems you guys use.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very, very cool. Awesome. Unless anyone else has any other questions, I'm gonna say no. Cool. Well, definitely really appreciate your time this morning. Actually, someone did try and sneak in one question. Last one, I promise. Issue with another ISP portal controlled mesh product we have. Client device behind the product will only show up if it's actually communicating to the WAN. If it's not, you can't port forward or create DHCP reservations, even though it's a lease. Would this have the same issue?
No, if it's got a lease, the main unit talks to the portal. You tell the main unit what to do. The main unit will execute.
Cool.
Did that answer your question?
Cool. If you do have any more questions, obviously we're happy to take them on board and pass them up and get them answered for you. So yeah, thanks everyone for joining. Definitely it's been a great discussion this morning, and again thanks to the Vilo team for coming on and answering any questions. And yeah, we're super excited for our Wi-Fi 6 devices to arrive. Obviously we've got plenty of the Wi-Fi 5 units on hand currently as well. So if you do have any questions about pricing or anything like that, reach out to us at Go Wi-Fi. Same deal if you're looking at the ISP portal and you need an access code, do feel free to reach out to myself or any of the sales team. Actually, they'll have access to them. And yeah, thanks everyone and have a great day.
Thanks everybody. Talk to you guys later.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Nice. Thank you.